to, understand them better. Now this week, it did begin well with the FDC Katonga-based faction because it had a section of its members, arrested. That is after they embarked on a protest to the Kenyan High Commission to express their discontent on how their colleagues were arrested a few weeks back in Kenya, in Kisumu actually. Now these people were arrested, they were brought back to the country and they were charged with treason. You know how serious such an offense is. Now these people have since been remanded to Luzira. So the Katonga-based FDC leaders, they wanted the Kenyan authorities to explain the circumstances under which their colleagues were arrested. They're saying these are people who left Uganda and entered Kenya legally, only to be followed up and arrested by the Ugandan authorities and being accused of being contemplating, to commit treason, rather to commit treason. Yes, actually terrorism. They were charged with terrorism. Now, away from that, Parliament has also been busy, presided over by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, that is Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa. And among the things that caught our attention this week was something that was started by Joy Senyonyi, where he was saying that it was unnecessary, to have the regional parliamentary sittings, which are going to cost us a whopping 20 billion. He's trying to interrogate and find out its essence, and he finds no any instance of this. It's like it's just a wastage of taxpayers' money. Whereas for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa says that, first of all, it's Parliament, the parliamentary, our leadership, it's the one that decides where Parliament is to sit. The leader of opposition's opinion does not matter on this. He can say whatever he wants, but it's the leadership of Parliament that can decide where it is going to sit. That's why we've always had it, sit in various places. Mentioned Kololo and some other, places. Now we are waiting to see how this is going to go, but some members have promised to boycott it. That is to boycott these regional parliamentary sittings. My panelists are already here. Nisima Gachivayo is a lawyer and is also an NRM cadre. Good to have you, Counsel. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Good to have you also. And my brother, good
Alvin.
Morning. Alvin, good morning. Good morning, viewers. I congratulate everybody who has got something good this morning or towards the end of this week. Glory be to God for that wonderful things and what you have achieved. I also take this opportunity to pass my sincere condolences and sympathies to those who have got challenges, and we pray to God that at least He avails a way how those challenges can be put to an end, because He's the God, and He does everything it takes to have the human being happy, and also...
And He loves His people.
Yeah, loving God. So I wish you a good presentation.
Thank you. Dr. Alvin Mutebi happens to be a conflict analyst. He is also a political analyst. I hear he has acquired a new title. Good to have you, Doctor, after a long time. What is your latest title that you have acquired?
Idrissa, it's a very good morning to be, to be alive, and I really thank God for the goodness. Yeah, I'm research and advocacy working with the Anti-Corruption Coalition of Uganda. It's really good work, to research and advocate for the eradication of corruption.
Anti-Corruption Coalition of Uganda.
Yes, in our country. And
for starters, what's that?
Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda is the non-government organization that looks at fighting corruption. So we work with various regional anti-corruption coalitions, and we come together to see that
institutions like the IGG.
Yeah, we collaborate with them.
State House Anti-Corruption Unit.
Exactly, we collaborate with them to see how best we can, contribute towards the fight against corruption. Yes.
Lately, we've been discussing, how the government has turned a new leaf when it comes to fighting corruption. That's why we have so many people remanded to Luzira because of corruption. Others were just recently released, the 3 members of parliament. From where you sit as the anti-coalition,
Anti-corruption coalition.
Anti-corruption coalition,
Yes.
are you impressed by the way the government is handling the corrupt nowadays?
I would say it is a step-by-step kind of
How have you contributed this fight?
engagement. But what the Ugandan should also know is that it is really disappointing to see that every now and then government has been coming up to say that citizens should own the war against corruption. And citizens have come up to show you that, here we are. We've come to own
And you arrest them?
the war against corruption. And then you arrest them, and then you don't even direct them on how they should own the war against corruption. Because,
The anti-corruption coalition was also part of this March to Parliament protest,
no, for us we weren't part of that.
but you are sympathizers.
Yeah, we sympathize with them because we believe that they had a message. Our conviction is that they had a message. And the message was okay. But though,
How about the modus operandi? Were you convinced?
though
that
for
was it?
me, I would say that these younger people maybe were addressing their petition to a very wrong person. Because I cannot say that I'm complaining against him and then I'm having a petition written and I'm taking it to the same person that I'm complaining against. So you cannot tell me that Anita must resign, and then you're going to the same Anita telling her that this is a petition we are presenting to you, and in the petition it says Anita must resign. So for me, I was of a view that
And that wasn't the case. The case was like this. Holding placards, they began stand for Parliament with a message, Anita must go. I didn't hear of anybody saying to petition. Maybe that was another section which wanted to petition the Speaker. But a group that was marching to Parliament, the other message was stipulated on the placards. The message was Anita must go. Coming, they converge in front of the parliamentary building,
telling who now?
telling her to go.
Then-
but nobody came to petition her.
So,
Maybe that was a different section.
Going to Parliament and then march to Parliament, that means that you're speaking to the head of the institution, Parliament, and telling her that, this so-and-so person should, leave your institution. And it is the same person that you're protesting against.
So you're telling us you're not satisfied with the way the security agencies handled this?
Yeah, I'm not, because, there would have been a way of organizing these young people and tell them that, no, look here, what are the issues that you really are advocating for? If you're saying that Anita must resign, why? Then you give reasons. If it is corruption, then you also state
I think the reason was clear. Come on,
the
Mr.
reason is clear. I would say the reason is clear, but for us now, if you look at the aspect of fighting corruption, corruption at Parliament is only 1% of the amount of money that we lose every year due to corruption. Every year the country we lose close to 10 trillion shillings,
According to IGG.
according to the Inspector General of Government, every year. But to me, I say we even lose more than that. There's a lot of corruption at local government level. What are these young people doing about that? There's a lot of corruption in service delivery. What are these young people doing about that? Those are some of the questions that we have to ask ourselves. Every now and then, the Auditor General has been releasing audit reports, and these audit reports have been coming with audit queries. Have these young people interested themselves in the understanding of these audit reports? This is where we have to shift the discussion. Not
Wait, which young people are you referring to? The group that wanted to protest?
yes, the group that went to protest.
Maybe they have just woken up.
No.
And like you say, and like
That
you
is-
use the,
that-
like
that-
you,
that-
like
that-
you refer to them, young people. They are young.
That is what I'm trying to say.
have just
That is
started
that
on
is
this.
what I'm trying to say. That this group, yes, they have woken up. They need to be guided and told that
By who?
like the actors, the so-called actors. like for example, if you are, let me say, I'm giving an example. If you are Auditor General, you've released a report. The report should speak to the demographics. If you are saying that Uganda, demographically, the young people are the majority, so do the young people understand how things are playing in the country? So if you release a report, bring it to the attention of the demographics. Say, okay, look here, you the majority people in this country, you are the majority subscribers of these public services. Look here, ABCD is happening, and they get to understand the reports. IGG, if you come up with your report and you say, look here, we are losing 10 trillion shillings to corruption every year. Young people, this is your play. This is what you have to know. And then they have, you know, their protest becomes informed with statistics, with evidence, you know, with the right reason. Not, me, I always call it fallacious kind of allegations that come up, and, you know, people just come on the streets, and we have what we call a political kind of a palindrome that comes with people to just show themselves. These guys of the opposition quality, you know, exposing yourself. But that is the palindrome that comes along politics and politicking on a number of issues that can, you know, that can play. But we want to have a tailor-made kind of organization, civic engagement, whereby if somebody comes up to say, look here, these are the things that we are agitating for as the young people, in this guise of what is happening in Parliament, but still there are also other factors that are leading. For example, if you're saying that Anita must resign, okay, you would say that she's extravagant, you would say that it's what. But there are other oversight roles that Parliament play. In Park, Kosase, what, have those reports come out? Has Parliament played its role? Has the Speaker played her role when it comes to, you know, playing an oversight role in scrutinizing government agencies, scrutinizing government programs? You know, I mean, that could be the message that these young people could be carrying, to say that, look here, this is the challenge that we are having, and we believe that the Speaker has not played her substantive role as a Speaker in looking into these issues. Why are we losing 10 trillion shillings every financial year when Parliament passes a budget and the Speaker is the presiding officer when Parliament is discussing a budget? And at the back of their mind they know that we are passing this budget, but if it, let me say, if it is 72 trillion shillings budget, but at the back of their mind they know that out of the 72, 10 trillion shillings out of the 72 is going to be into corruption. So this is where the young people should come in and say, look here, how are we going to safeguard? What is Right Honorable Anita telling us that we are passing this budget, but these are the safeguards that we are going to put so that we make sure that we do an oversight role to monitor and observe to make sure that this budget is put to use. Those are some of the things, that is the discussion that the young people should have. Not coming on the streets. Okay, coming on the streets to demonstrate would be a way, but it had to be to be informed. Somewhere, somehow I would.
Clearly, you're not impressed by these young people's.
Yes, somehow I would associate myself with the President Museveni when he said that I would join these people if Nakalima organized, because I mean, they would have a point.
You said you were a researcher in which organization?
Yes, you saying what?
You said you work with the
Anti-Corruption Coalition in Uganda.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe if these young people were
organized, you
organized,
are watering down the efforts of young people.
I'm not watering. Quote me well. I'm not watering
corruption.
I'm not watering the efforts.
Those are double standards.
My preamble was the IGG called the people to own the war against corruption. That was my preamble. And I said that people have come out to own the war against corruption.
Which part of those?
The young people have come up to show that here we are owning the war against corruption. And I appreciate them. But the problem was
But here you are discouraging them.
Yes, the problem was they lacked guidance. They needed to be guided
What
on
kind
how
of guidance
to carry
are we talking
forward
about?
their protest.
What kind
you
of
cannot,
guidance?
you cannot, the guidance I'm saying is that you cannot say Anita is not the only issue. It's not the only corruption issue we have in the country. The corruption rotates around governance, corruption rotates around transparency, accountability, not Anita Among. That is what I'm trying to say. And that is how we needed to organize these young people. And we tell them, look here, if you are going to the streets to protest, protest about issues to do with governance, protest about issues to do with the rule of law, protest about issues to do with human rights,
You're asking them
transparency,
much.
accountability.
You're asking them to do much.
Not asking them to do much is we are guiding them on how to ask. Because now asking for Anita to resign, the whole effort is going to shift. Anita will bring police, they will bring what? You saw what happened.
Tell me, what
But
does the anti-corruption coalition do in terms of fighting corruption? What exactly?
what are we doing?
Other than you doing research and then you establish how much is spent, how much we
We
lose.
we educate the masses. We tell them that, look here, we are spending this much, and we tell them this is how things are supposed to
And
be.
then after learning how much we lose in corruption, what next?
People get informed and they know and they start to demand for accountability. That is what we are doing.
These are people that who came up to demand for accountability.
Not from Anita. Not from Anita. Not from the Right Honorable Speaker. Because, as I told you, we have problems. Governance issues. We have issues to do with accountability. We have issues to do with transparency. And Anita Among is not a district leader. Is not going to be maybe at Madokolo or maybe Terego where we did not have any S6 candidate. That is not the problem. The problem is with the institution. The problem is with governance.
Okay.
And the elements of transparency and accountability at all levels,
How do you
not
do it?
at parliament only. And that's why we are saying that these people should march to parliament and tell their leaders that, look here, MPs, we have a problem here. We need to correct A, B, C, D. Not telling Anita to resign. If she goes and I come into play with that kind of system, the following day they will come back on the streets and say, Alvin must resign.
Well, Mr. Alvin, that I've spent a long time without sitting with you on such a show. I think I need to bring you up to speed. And I don't know whether you know that the person we are talking about has sanctions on her head from 2 great countries of the world. And those 2 countries are accusing her of being corrupt. In other words, this was a personalized war. Maybe these young people, you know, they took it personal on the Speaker of Parliament, and that is Anita Among. Considering what is surrounding her, that her self is corrupt. So they want her out as an individual. They are targeting her as an individual.
But would that be a solution? Would that provide a solution to the corruption question we have in the country?
At least
When an
they've done
individual
something.
lives.
But at least
The
they've done something.
corruption question we have in the
They're
country.
not like you.
The corruption question we have in the country.
Allow me to be rude.
Let me speak to
Allow me to be rude
the
and point this out to you.
The corruption question we have in the country is not with individuals.
Allow me
It
to-
is with institutions.
I'm asking myself.
Stop individualizing institutions.
I'm asking for your permission to be rude to you.
Yes.
Not like you, who form NGOs, the anti-corruption CGE coalition, where you're targeting, you know, funders' money, so that you can just benefit, enrich yourselves.
No.
You know, these young people are brave enough to take the streets to protest. They're not like you, who just sit in offices targeting funders'
No,
money.
I'm not against them demonstrating. What I'm against is individualizing institutions to say, and actually I've also seen it in politics. They will say this constituency belongs to so and so.
When the United States
This
of
is
America
so and so is,
moved
you know,
to sanction the speaker, did it sanction the Parliament of Uganda or it sanction the Speaker of Parliament?
they sanctioned the
The
speaker.
UK,
They
did it
sanctioned.
sanction the Parliament or it
They sanctioned. They sanctioned.
Anita Among?
They sanctioned.
The United Arab Emirates, did it sanction the
The
Parliament or the
reasons
Speaker?
behind the International Global Sanctions Act is that the sanctions they give them to individuals because they are using what we call the asset recovery kind of approach, whereby they believe that somebody swindles using the power he or she has to govern an institution.
And that's what prompted these young people to also come out.
But that is not the problem we have as a country.
Because the person,
That is what
individual,
that is what Ugandans should know. Protesting against Impuga over 500 millions is a problem. You only have to protest against the commissioners. And what these guys are doing, the parliamentarians, to say that let us solicit hands and we impeach these commissioners, it is right. Not going on TV and say so and so is a thief, so and so. The problem is with the commission. If the problem is with the commission, see how you address the commission. After addressing the commission, you will have issues sorted out. But if you say that we are chasing away Mpuga, the another day Mwoge will come in as a commission and the same issue will happen. And if the same issue happens, how are you going to address it? Let's work with the system, the institution, not individuals.
Clearly to you, that's when the US moved to sanction. It sanctioned the speaker as an individual. The UK sanctioned the speaker as an individual. Why do you ask the youth to go and protest against the institution of parliament?
The problem is not with individuals. The question of corruption in Uganda is institutional, not individual. That is what I'm saying.
Let me bring in Councillor Nsima. Councillor Nsima, I think we've discussed that for a very long time. Only that I've not been with him for a long time. And then when he introduced himself as someone who works with the Anti-Corruption Coalition, I needed to point it out to him. But I want to come to you this week. You saw FDC members from the Katonga-based faction when they went to express their discontent, their displeasure at the Kenyan High Commission after they had their people arrested in Kisumu and charged with terrorism. A case that you understand well. The last time I checked, the penalty is that in case you're convicted, that you must be succumbed to is either death penalty or life imprisonment. But I don't know anyone who has ever been convicted. Now, first of all, I have two issues to discuss here.
Yes.
Violating the sovereignty of another state, Ugandan authorities crossing into Kenya to arrest Ugandans who entered Kenya legally. There, it puts our diplomatic ties in balance. Let's start from there before we even discuss the violation of human rights, where you arrested people who just moved peacefully to go and protest. Let's start with this.
Thank you.
Diplomatic ties of Uganda and Kenya.
Thank you, moderator. I saw you having a hot discussion with my brother here about the corruption war in Uganda and the fight.
But just 1 second, allow me first to welcome our other panelist, Haji Farouk Ntege. Good to have you, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's a pleasure being here today, this morning with my brothers here. I salute you all.
Councillor Nsima and Dr. Alvin Mutebi.
Nice meeting you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Carry on, Councillor.
Thank you. What I was saying is that I saw you in a heated debate with my brother here, Arvin. Of course, he tried to give his submission about the coalition, the NGO.
That's an organization he works with.
Yes, and the one thing I want to agree with him is that we all agree that corruption is here and it is a betrayal of our people.
Yes.
So it calls for collective responsibility and efforts to fight this. And when we are fighting corruption, we should always be non-partisan in parties, in tribes, in what, but being patriotic and fighting the war as Ugandans. Because what is being taken is not Haji Farouk Ntege's money, is not Nsima's money, it is taxpayers' money that calls for collective responsibilities and efforts for us to fight. However, as we are doing the same, we must also admit that there are forums put forward to do so. So if you are doing the whistleblowing, you must get to know which lane are you taking. Otherwise, short of that, you'll be in hot soup and in a catastrophe. Because like what you have been discussing with him, yes, the young people have a right cause, but how have you handled it? Because Parliament is not a demonstration place.
But why don't we go to the point?
Okay, anyway.
Because it's such
So
a long time ago.
I wanted to bring that. Maybe closing that is that the president has always mentioned severally that those in accounting positions are the ones that have to give in accountability. Actually, even the framers of our constitution, the 1995 as amended, Article 164, clarifies about the accountability, that accounting officers must account for this money they get to Parliament. Anyway, coming to this point you've said, where the FDC...
We are discussing another issue.
Yes, where the
that is there.
Yes, where the FDC,
Uganda authorities
Katonga...
arresting Ugandans in a sovereign country like Kenya.
No, first of all, I am not, I must put a waiver that I'm not a spokesperson of the Uganda People's, I don't know, a spokesperson of...
You're discussing it from a legal
Uganda
perspective.
Police Force.
You've already look, we are not discussing security issues.
No, let me give you...
We are discussing the legal, the legality of this.
I have that.
Yes.
But I said, let me first put a waiver. I am not a Uganda Police Force spokesperson. And I did not see...
They were not arrested by the Uganda police. They were arrested by the military.
So, but...
You don't speak for the UPDF. Everybody knows that.
Okay. Now, what you saw, or what I saw, or what he saw, or what every Ugandan saw is that those people were arrested from Kenya and brought to Uganda.
Arrested by the Ugandan authorities.
No, they were arrested by Kenyan authorities, handed over to the Ugandan law enforcement agencies.
Well, according to them, they were picked by the Ugandan security.
You're getting my opinion, my brother. That's why I said...
Your opinion, which is not a fact. Me, I'm giving you a fact, you give you an opinion.
I don't know, I don't know.
And as a lawyer, that's why I wanted us to discuss
But
this.
maybe your facts will be subjected to proof, but me, I'm saying this is my opinion, which I'm entitled to. Those people were arrested in Kenya by the Kenyan authorities there, handed over to the Ugandan law enforcement agencies, and were paraded in courts of Uganda and remanded as we talk now.
Bring you up to speed.
Now,
the Kisumu County Governor is very unhappy, wondering how people who are in his area of jurisdiction were arrested without his consent. Or you are not aware of this?
No, I saw his statement. I saw his statement.
Still, I bring you up to speed. The people I talk about who were arrested, the people from the FDC Katonga-based faction, they were marching the Kenyan High Commission to ask them how they would allow Ugandan authorities to make arrests in a sovereign country, in another independent country.
First of all, those who were marching to the Kenyan High Commission, it is a grave mistake. Actually, they were led by a senior council, the Lord Mayor of this city, Kampala, and himself. Actually, I saw him when he was being interviewed by the journalists.
But he didn't join the protest. He was led by the...
No, yeah, I saw him when he was giving his remarks to the journalists. That no, these people, they would have allowed them, we are just marching to the High Commission and putting their petition for them to answer our queries. How our people were arrested and like that. Now, first of all, under international law and diplomacy, you marching to an embassy or a high commission of a certain country is, first of all, wrong, and two, it is like you are attacking another country, because it is presumed that where you see the high commission of any country, it is that once you step there, it is like you are presumed that you are in that country.
What a manifestation of double standards, Mr. Nisima. No, I want to inform you this. It's not the first time we are having a section of Ugandans going to protest in front of any embassy. Just recently, we had Ugandans marching the U.S. embassy, protesting against the sanctions of the speaker. You know that.
You see,
We've always had people moving, protest in front of embassies. Why is it wrong now? And by the way, you raised
You
something, international law, violation of international law. What is more of violating international law than having Ugandan authorities crossing to another country to make arrests of people, bring them back here? Isn't that gross violation of international law?
No, I don't think the Ugandan law enforcement agencies were not, I mean, drove themselves from Uganda to cross to Kenya and arrest those people you are saying. There has to be a raised alarm or a concern by the other security agencies of the other country that we have people here, but we don't know their motive and they are in our country. Are they yours? Do you know them? I mean, asking them about the clearances and their identity. So that's how the Ugandan law enforcement agencies had to swing it. But also, the point I was driving home is that that the FDC Katonga faction walking or marching in protest to the Kenyan High Commission is wrong. They actually, when I saw the Lord Mayor addressing the journalists, I was wondering now, Lord Mayor, first of all, is a lawyer. Secondly, he has a law firm, Rukwaga and Company Advocates. Couldn't he go to the to the chambers and write a letter or a correspondence which is taken by one person to the Kenyan High Commission that we are acting for and on behalf of our clients, the Katonga faction, blah, 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 who are discontented with this, and then you put there your letter. It is addressed to the concerns of the High Commission, Kenya High Commission, then that's how we can.
I told you about how serious the case is.
If you bring people to protest to the High Commission, that's what I'm saying. It is
we are talking about people who are charged with a capital offense of treason.
Yes.
Actually, terrorism, not treason. You know how serious
they
that
are
is.
presumed.
They are presumed.
Yes.
Because of the presumption of innocence.
Because the Article 28
I understand.
Yes.
I understand.
Presumption
But
of innocence.
in the first place, does that make sense to you? Why would such a group be charged with terrorism? Here they are. They tell you that they went under a formal arrangement. They left Uganda, entered Kenya legally, and they were going under training session. It's where they were picked actually from the hotels where they were residing, brought back here and then charged with terrorism.
First of all,
you don't realize how serious this is.
I don't want.
That's why you want to blame these people.
I don't want to be sub judice. Put me on record. I think I'm unanswered now. I don't want to be sub judice to discuss a matter that is in court. If these people were brought in Uganda and they are in courts of law, their matter is still ongoing. So I think I may not discuss that further. My concern is about the protests of the FDC Katonga faction that was heading to the High Commission, that was blocked by the police.
How best would they have expressed their discontent?
I have just spoken it earlier. That
just writing a letter, mere letter.
Yes, you move that office by a letter. First, you engage them. This is a matter. Secondly, this is a matter that requires diplomacy yeah, it is a matter of international law and diplomacy. You can write to them, copy to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for engagements. I mean, you don't just wake up one day, organize people, and you say, let's march and protest to the Kenyan High Commission. And then you disturb or you infringe on the rights of others. Article 43(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda has always categorically mentioned it clearly.
And there's some constitution
that in enjoyment of your rights,
you don't infringe on the rights of others.
You don't have to infringe on the rights of others.
So standing before the gate of the High Commission of Kenya with just placards, how are you infringing on the rights of others?
Don't you know that there are people who come for visas and what? That is one. You are.
Well, then maybe should stop this freedom of expression in your constitution. Because I've not seen.
No, we
I've not seen anywhere where allowing.
But
people.
You see, I said the Lord Mayor as the lead counsel for FDC. I respect him as a senior counsel. But sometimes we should not be politicking in whatever matters because you want to be seen by the masses that you are doing for the people or you are working for the people. He has a law firm called Lukwago and Company Advocates, where he could even go write that document.
You saw
and it is
politicking here.
delivered
There was
to-
politics.
Absolutely.
Let me bring in Haj Farouk Ontegi. Haj Farouk, you saw recently, I want to pick your opinion about the Ugandan, young people came out to join President Museveni in the fight against corruption. Because it is him who announced the war against the corrupt. That's when you saw him making some arrests. People, as we speak, some of them are in prison. Now, recently, the young people came out to march to parliament in protest against the rampant corruption in the country. You know how they met resistance, some of them were arrested, some have been released. Yes, your opinion on this?
Oh, first of all, I just want to thank my colleagues here who have been here from the beginning of the program. And I want also to apologize for having, been here late. The question that you are raising about corruption in Uganda, more especially the president involvement right from a long time ago when he came out. One time he had to march from, I think, Parliament to Kololo, and you saw what happened. All those are, probably issues that Ugandans are pressing him, despite the fact that there is no will to fight corruption. And that one we can get it from his statements.
There is no way?
There is no will for the government and the president in particular, despite the fact that so many other, institutions have been put in place. But if you go...
Even this time you're doubting his will when he said recently that now that I have evidence against these corrupt people.
No, it's not all about
And
the
as even
evidence.
arrests have been made, still you doubt his will?
No. The vice of corruption, if you have the will to fight it, you must change the tactics. You cannot, go to court or to go to council NISIMA and then write a very long document, present it in parliament and discuss about corruption. Where they have fought corruption, elsewhere in other countries, those are not the tactics that they have used. Because everyone is corrupt. We are all corrupt animals. Sometimes maybe some of us are not so lucky that we access where those resources are. Because the resources we are talking about, these are resources for the government. And the government, who is the owner of the government? You and me, sure. Everyone. So measures should be put in place. As you have seen, institutions, anti-corruption, and so many others, you can't even mention them. But at the end of the day, we must go back and see where is the will, more especially for the government, to fight corruption. We have seen in so many cases where even the president, remember the issue of Betty Camille. She came out clearly with a clear mind, having, gone through what the predecessors had done. She came up with probably what would be a nice program.
The lifestyle audit?
The lifestyle audit. And she presented it.
Even the code.
She presented it.
Even the code.
Yes.
Calling people to own the war against corruption.
Yes.
It was Betty Camille's code.
So now, but remember when she presented that to the president himself, the one who is spearheading the fight against corruption. Remember the words he used. But oh no. My thieves will run to Kenya. So don't go there. So now, if such a kind of statement is coming from the president himself.
That's why we are questioning his will.
Exactly.
But that was a long time ago. I want to speak about the president who just made a statement in May when he was giving the State of the Nation address. He was a different man this time round. It was a different version of Museveni.
We all know clearly who are corrupt. They are our neighbors, they are our brothers and sisters, they are our fathers, they are our mothers. We know them. Just go to your neighborhood, wherever you are staying. I don't think that you can even take 10 seconds or 5 minutes without, identifying that this is a corrupt
by just looking at people progressing economically. Then I said
No. We
people working hard.
No. They are working hard, and we appreciate. We have no problem with that. But a clerk of anywhere who earns 1.2 million shillings or 1.5 or 2 million shillings.
They're driving 400 million cars.
Yes, they are driving, they are cruising in the 600, 500, you know, year to the model to 2024. They are putting up, you know, apartments everywhere, mushrooming everywhere, even in your neighborhood. We all know who are corrupt. If you go to Rwanda, our neighbors here, you to come up with a plan to start a structure in your own locality, local leaders and the intelligence must come to you and ask,
Where do you get the money?
who is this person? Where do you get your resources? We know you work with government, or you are in such a kind of position, you earn this much. Where are you getting this amount of money? If you're a businessman, we must know your store or your offices and what you do. So fighting corruption, I think now it has become maybe something that we share when we are taking our big bottles in the evening and, you know, we are not serious. And especially the government is not serious about it. So we are still facing it unless we go back. And it's not all about corruption, because sometimes we tend to isolate some of the issues from the main concern, because we must go back and look at the policies and the governance in this country. Are we on the right track? Do we have right managers running this country? Because that's where the problem comes from.
Yes.
Every
So
institution.
the problem is about the administrators of this country.
Exactly. And we must answer that political
How
question.
can we change that?
Whether you are a NUP, whether you are an NRM, whether you are FDC, because this device of corruption is going to kill all of us. It's depriving us, you know, facilities in the hospital, our infrastructure, and every sector. So we are all concerned. And it's a genuine concern for all Ugandans to raise up and say, enough is enough. Otherwise, if we keep on meandering, talking about it, we come on this platform, we speak about it, we speak a lot of English, speak a lot of Angola and Uganda, that is not going to solve the problem. We must identify ourselves
It's a political
as
question.
Ugandans. It's a political question. It's a political question, whether we want to talk about it or not.
Mr.
But-
Ndege, there's something I wanted to ask you.
Mm.
If you go to the hospital and you don't find the medicine there, do you go to the, do you protest against the doctor, the in charge of the hospital?
Not at all.
Not at all. That is what I was trying to say. If you are saying that there is corruption in the country, you don't go to...
But I think you're mixing up issues. You see, I can see how hard you're trying to shield the speaker.
No, I'm not shielding her.
You are.
I'm not shielding
Because
her.
we're talking
I'm
about
saying,
corruption.
what I'm
The
saying,
speaker herself is a beneficial, a huge benefit of corruption.
even the doctor in the
When we-
hospital will be the one who is taking out drugs to his private
We have
hospital.
sanctions imposed on her as an individual. So if
No,
people
me-
really are to go, if like he's saying, like
Me,
he's saying,
I'm against the issue. In fact, I'm supporting your submission. I'm against the issue of individualization of corruption. That's why we are going wrong as a
the
country.
man you're supporting just told us that it is easy for us to recognize those who are corrupt. If we get to know that Nisima here is corrupt, and then we come out and protest against, say, is a civil servant is corrupt. Are we wrong?
That
That
is-
is speaker.
That is
decides
what
over the
that is
parliament.
what Intege is saying, that the problem is with the institution.
No, but-
So if we make the institution, like for example, Honorable Betty Kamya came up with her lifestyle audit, that is a governance kind of approach to say, let us do a lifestyle audit on Intege, who we think he is corrupt. So if you are saying that the speaker must resign, lifestyle audit then comes in.
Wind up and take a break.
We audit her,
Mr.
and then we say that this person is a corrupt person, and then we deal with that
Yes,
one.
to
but
sum
you
it
changed the
up,
man
I
now.
think to me, it's
You
our...
are changed man.
No.
These days you've been missing. I don't know who you've been talking to.
But also,
Carry on, Haj.
I think to me,
You're going to come in.
this is our collective responsibility
Yes.
as Ugandans. Putting aside our political affiliations, our religious affiliations, our tribal denominations and what, and we come up as a one single unit called Uganda. Because this country belongs to all of us, and we are all shareholders. The shares I own in this company called Uganda are the same shares with my brother Nisima and the rest of us. We all own this country. So if we don't do that, keeping on clapping for those people, Muzei Totova Kumeini, even if you know that the money is not even going anywhere, that kind of talk and belief is the one that is distorting this country. Okay. It's the one that is killing the future of this country, our children and grandchildren. And I'm telling you one time, because for us in Buganda here, we have a proverb which says, Teokariada kadada. Whatever you do today, it will have to surface in future. And it's going to hit you hard. Okay. Therefore, it's our cardinal responsibility as Ugandans. We raise up and say no to corruption. But as we are saying no to corruption, we must also say no to longevity of someone who has mismanaged this country.
Hey, it's out before we take a break in a second.
Yes, first of all, I want to agree with the...
No, you're submitting. I thought you had something to do.
No, first I'm submitting. I want to agree with the Haji Farouk Ntega and my brother here that corruption is evil and it is eating up institutions in our country. And therefore, fighting it is not a one-man's war. It is a collective responsibility, and for us Ugandans to participate in
that
it.
That word disturbs me, Council.
Secondly,
collective responsibility. When others came out to help you, what did you do to them? You arrested them.
But I said, get me clear.
You arrested them.
They are
what collective responsibility are you
there are forums
for?
And institutions put forward in this country to fight corruption. What we can do is to collaborate with them, is to give them information, is to report the corrupt individuals we think that he comes from Machindi, but State House Anti-Corruption Unit might not be in Machindi.
Let's take a break.
Where he sees that there is misappropriation of the land,
we are
he can
going to
report
come
to
back
those
after this
institutions.
break. Dear viewers, don't go away. The dialogue continues shortly.
Uganda, your #1 leading education newspaper, is back, bigger and better. With articles to fully suit the educational triangle from the government, schools and parents all over the country, aiming at answering the ever left out questions, not forgetting revision questions and answers set by experienced teachers to prepare students for their finals. The Lana newspaper is supplied to over 12,068 schools all over the country with affordable advertising rates. We offer many more services which include uniform and sweater tailoring, all with an aim of easing work for the educationists. Contact us on 0754 777 029 or 0774 621 539. Email us on info@lananews.com or visit our website at www.lananews.com. You can also visit our offices at City Center Complex, Room J15, 4th floor, along Loom Street. The Lana, prioritizing education.
Coming soon on BTM.
Abasanya ab'enjawulo omuli Mr. Bruno, Ice,
njagala kubeera nzekka naye lwaki onnemera
ono nga yajja kutawaanya na kumenyamenya famire.
I've tried.
Kati leero ogenda kulaba gy'obuse.
I've tried. Tabanga yenda.
Byonna byonna wano ku BTM TV kujja birabira mu the obs.
Discover delicacy at Cafe Atu, your all-in-one destination. Whether it's the perfect cup of coffee or a satisfying meal, we got you covered. Indulge your cravings with our mouth-watering pilau, savory katogo, crispy chips, and tender chicken. Explore a world of cocktails and fresh juices for a truly special treat. Planning an event? Choose Cafe Atu for top-notch outside catering services. Benefit from ample parking. Stay connected with Wi-Fi and catch your favorite matches on DSTV. Cafe Atu offers food deliveries in and around Kampala. Hosting a conference, our center accommodates up to 1,000 people. Need a boardroom for a party or corporate meeting? We've got just the spot for you. We offer a free venue for birthdays and baby showers, providing complimentary photography. For those aspiring to become professional baristas, our barista school awaits you. Visit us at Albany Center, Level 2 on Ginger Road. Cafe Atu, where every occasion becomes a memorable experience.
Don't miss on BTM.
Get ready for an extraordinary journey of faith and valor as BTM TV presents Omusirikale Alokokatya. It's time to witness the remarkable convergence of duty and devotion. Join us every week as we sit down with real-life heroes, men and women who have not only dedicated their lives to ensuring our safety, but have also found a deeper purpose on their journey to Christianity.
The foundation of this country, we hand it over to you, Father. 20.
Witness the miracles that unfold in their daily service. These are just not stories of duty. These are tales of redemption. Don't miss the chance to be inspired, uplifted on BTM TV as we bring you 30 minutes of faith and courage. Every hero has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. Only on BTM TV.
Sit back and relax with BTM. We transform.
Are you looking for the perfect cake to sweeten up your special occasion? Look no further than Cake Oasis. At Cake Oasis, we specialize in creating exquisite cakes for all types of events. Whether it's a birthday celebration, a wedding, an introduction, baby shower, or any other special occasion. Our cakes come in a variety of trendy designs that will add a touch of elegance to your function. And the best part, our cakes are not only beautifully crafted, but also affordable. Contact us today on 0743 060 510 or 0762 572 464 to order your dream cake and make your event truly unforgettable. Cake Oasis, love at first bite.
My name is Idrissa Muonge, here with my panelists. At the extreme end, I have Haj Farouk Muntege. He's a former Member of Parliament contestant from Machinge West. I do have next to him is Dr. Alvin Mutebi. He's a PhD, he's also a political analyst, and I have next to me is Council Nsima Gachibayo. He's a lawyer as well as an NRM cadre. That's why whatever we are not satisfied with in this government, we throw it to him, because he's here representing the ruling party, and that's why I want to start. Actually, I should start with Alvin. Alvin, you saw how these people, good thing you also understand some international, you lawyer yourself. Here we have people, cross to another country to undergo training. Just because we had the institutions that were helping train them here, barred by the government. Remember some of those institutions that were training people here. The DGF that was financing some of those institutions, now that was stopped here, people are now going to other countries to be trained. That's what the FDC members had gone to do. Those from Katonga faction, and they are arrested, brought here, charged with terrorism. Take it up there objectively. Take it up.
Yeah.
Objectively.
What I would say is that international...
These days I don't trust him. I used to trust him, but these days I don't trust him.
I'm very objective in my submissions. I don't want to mislead the viewers.
Okay,
I want to organize them, not organize. So what I'm trying to say is that international law and the way it is applied, there is what we call a double standard in the application of international law. That has been evident. Recently when I was speaking before a certain committee of parliament in Denmark, I told them that, look here, you have a war in Ukraine and Russia, and how you apply international law is totally different from how you apply international law in Israel and Gaza. I mean Israel and Palestine. It's totally different.
To be specific, guys.
You've seen how you see the double standard, how it plays there. And I was like that there is the need to now break down what is international law. And then I also asked myself that a law which does not have an enforcement mechanism, which is very substantive,
it's not a law.
It also it becomes weak, and not it becomes a weak law. It looks more of a, I call it what? It looks more of we used to call it council. We used to call it customary kind of customary kind of relationship. Let me call it that for lack of a better word. It's customary kind of relationship that I will go and kneel down when greeting the elder. But if I don't kneel down, I have no problem.
No, but the customary ought to have stayed for longer,
as
long as it is not challenged by the supremacy of law.
Exactly. So that's what we have with the international law now and how it plays. So now, the people of FDC, they find themselves in such a conundrum whereby there is a conflict between the understanding of the application of international law versus now the situation into which they find themselves into. And that's where things are coming up now. You are in a foreign country on something, maybe they had gone to study as they are claiming to be, and then you find yourself in a situation whereby Kenya is maybe seemingly recovering from the protests. Then you find yourself whereby Kenya,
They haven't ended.
they haven't ended. The political situation in Kenya is not favorable. And then you find yourself in a triangle whereby now the issues that maybe you've gone for are seemingly attached to maybe the protests. And then we have protests in Uganda, where you're coming from. So, in the understanding, it looked like maybe these guys are going to benchmark on the protests. And then they're on the opposition. So, you find yourself, they find themselves in a conundrum whereby the situations that play on the ground at both ends, Uganda and Kenya, are affecting them right now. You have protests in Kenya, but the same protests are starting in Uganda.
So the issue was about the timing.
Yes, and then you are coming from the opposition. And then you are in that kind of situation.
You're in a country at the wrong time.
Yeah, you're in a country at the wrong time.
The protest ongoing there. And
the protest ongoing there.
The country you come from, you're
there are also protests happening this side. And then you're crossing to the other side. So it looked like as if...
That raise suspicion?
Yes, it looks like as if you're going to benchmark what is the other side and bring it back this side. So, to avoid that kind of putting up a conundrum whereby maybe we don't know and we create suspicions, then that is what came into play.
And then how does the charge of terrorism come into play?
What is terrorism?
Talk. You're a lawyer, I'm not.
Do you know that the Anti-Terrorism Act of Uganda is not even explicit enough to detail what is terrorism? I don't want to go into that kind of discussion because I don't want to preempt the discussion in court. Because I mean the lawyers. I don't want to do that, but that is the question I would ask myself. Because if you come up with such a statement, terrorism prison, can you give us a detailed kind of definition?
We can discuss this
to such a context.
By being prejudiced. We can still avoid being prejudiced, but discuss this. Terrorism, who's a terrorist and what do you base on to charge someone with terrorism? We don't have necessarily to be talking about what is happening to these FDC members. But terrorism, let's discuss it broadly. What is it? And what does the state base on to charge someone with terrorism? For Jamiru Mukulu, it was an understandable case. ADF, everybody knows it, they have been terrorism people. So when you say that we are slapping a charge of terrorism on Jamiru Mukulu, I think no one can be surprised. But
before council comes in, can I give you a scenario? No. If you look at the act, and then you see how our parents are raising us. I mean, I would go to court and say my parent is a terrorist. Because if you look at the act and you read it internally, the acts of, the act of causing violence and cruel
the child
to a human being. Yes, and we've seen our parents do that. Somebody, my mother would come with a mingling stick.
She's that should be charged with a terrorism.
Yes, if I could come and make an argument basing on...
but they are differentiated. There is the Children Act and the...
Yes, so that's how the things play.
So these things are different. Because you cannot say that your parent who is raising you...
That was just an example.
Maybe Haji Tege Farouk is disciplining. He's 18-year-old son, and then the
son would go and say, my father is
16. No, that one I think. They are differentiated. You see, the laws here we have in Uganda differentiate everything in its own state. Because if it is a matter that deals with the children, then we have the Children's Act. If it is a matter that deals with terrorism, we have the Terrorism Act. And then, majorly, that's how they differentiate them from that thing. You have just given an example of Jamiru Mukulu, the leader of the ADF.
They were not surprised when he was saying that. Because
yes, you see.
Considering what they said that he did.
You see, there is something we are forgetting, that this government knows actually President Museveni is Sabarwanyi. The word Sabarwanyi, Hajintege, it means you have ever fought and you know the tactics of the fight. So you must go slow when you are attacking this government or even trying to plan or have a program outside the country. You sit there and you have an agenda that the security agencies have not even been notified about. Okay? So when they pick you from there and then they bring you to the courts of law, they charge you with terrorism. But of course in law we say that he who alleges must do what? Must prove.
And then you bring in a silent.
You
bring in a silent mechanism saying international.
So the prosecution has that burden to prove, because they are the ones.
You bring in a silent mechanism to say it is international.
Because it is the prosecution that
I've never seen anybody being, substantively protected by such mechanisms. You saw what happened to our border when it got closed in Rwanda. It was until when President Kagame was like, let me just open. But we went even up to the East African Court. And I'm sure these people would even go.
And our own Kalali Stephen is the one who was charged with drugs.
Yes, but
and we won.
What did we get out
but
of
you
this?
see, you see, we must admit that we have just embarked on the role of promoting our East African community.
No, I don't want you to divert me because you don't have much time, but I want to understand this, and our viewers also need to understand this. Council Nisim, especially you're the one who has the duty to help us understand this. Isn't this another way of how the state persecutes its opponents? These are people who have gone to benchmark to be trained, and then you go, you arrest them, bring them here, charge them with terrorism. This is political persecution. That's what I'm pointing out to you, and this is what you want to. This is what you have to clarify.
No, it is not political
persecution. It is.
No, what I want to tell you is one. The framers of our constitution under Article 28 brought about the presumption of innocence. You are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
But why would the state charge them in the first place with them?
Of course, you see, by
I don't see any links
by
here
the time
that,
you bring a charge, by the time you bring a charge or an offense, you have all the facts, you have the evidence that you have to present in the courts of law for those people to be charged. But if the evidence is not there or it is scanted, obviously people will gain their
Not so long ago, we're discussing a case here which the Constitutional Court had repealed, the Aidan disorderly. Nevertheless, the state went and arrested the protesters on July 23rd. It accused them of being Aidan disorderly. Those are the counts that they were charged with.
It was not a one count.
And then also public nuisance. But why would they bring in the idle and disorder thing, which they knew very well that the Constitutional Court had, removed from the penal code?
Yeah, true. Those people were charged, I think, you are saying 23rd? 23rd.
June.
Yes. The Penal Code Act has been revised now. We used to have cap 120. Now we have cap 128. The common offenses that have just been revised of recent. And so I agree with you that Aidan disorderly is an outdated kind of offense and does not apply here. Even recently, the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, came and gave a clarification on that. But the counts were more than one. There was the common nuisance, and there was that Aidan disorderly. But finally, the Aidan disorderly was scrapped out. Because you are very aware
that's why
the prosecution can seek leave to amend the charge in courts of law. The prosecution, that is the DPP, can seek leave to amend the charge sheet.
That has always happened. But what I mean is that these law enforcers, when they are making arrests of these protesters, and then you slap this charge on them, which you know very well that it's no longer in the Constitution of Uganda. It's another way of how the state tries to hide itself.
Yeah, first of all, I think when I get a chance to meet Justice Jane Francis Abodo, I think when I get a chance to meet her at Workers' House, there are certain things that we see in the DPP that do not, match to the standards. You arrest somebody at around noon, and at 2 is being paraded in courts of law. That is where now that great pressure that brings what we call the scant evidence when we are trying these cases, and you find the prosecution has lost it. Because you have arrested an opposition member of parliament at Machinde City Hall or KCC there at around noon. And then at 2 you are parading him in the courts of law.
Like it happened on 23rd June.
You get my point. So you have not gathered the evidence, and the one that you have in the file is very scanty. Even I think the state prosecutors, when they are sanctioning these files, sometimes they are under pressure, and you cannot read through.
But also, you also remember that all
the work of the DPP is to legally advise the police.
The state actually never lost it, because you remember that most of those people that they arrested on that fateful day, all of them, they were remanded to Russia. They were just, set free on bail after a number of days. So it means that the state never lost.
But then
we are talking about the charge.
But then now you're going to bring a problem to the judicial officer. Because now the judicial officer will just be like as if you are, transit to detention. You are in the middle of transit.
And that is what is making us question these things. Was there connivance between the state and the judicial officers? Because the swiftness they used there, the speed itself, the speed they used, like he said, you are arrested at noon, by 3, you are remanded to Uzira, all of them.
Because the judicial officer, I wouldn't remand somebody on an issue or on a case or a crime which is no longer our penal code.
Okay, let's bring in Haj Farouk. Yes, about this issue I discussed.
Yes, I have heard my brothers.
But I also wanted to point this out to you, because we just went back there, but the issue of the FDC members who were arrested in Kenya, brought back to the country and then charged with terrorism. Isn't this another way of political persecution by the state, persecuting its opponents?
I'll say it again and again, that as a country, as stakeholders of this country, we need to revisit our positions. The positions on how we want this country to be run or to be governed. We must all agree that we have a collapsed institution called the government of Uganda, which needs total overhaul. It's not like even we want to repair. We need a total overhaul. Because now,
you're not satisfied with the Museveni administration?
No, at the moment, we are on zero. And we must go on ground zero to rebuild this country, rebuild the institutions of this country. Because, it's like about maybe on Tuesday we shall talk about police. Then with Thursday, we shall talk about judiciary. The other, Saturday here, as we are here, we shall talk about what's happening in URA.
So the agenda is already set.
So, but we are just rotating about all rotten institutions. All rotten institutions. Because now, the state itself is using its own institutions to torture, to demean, to do whatever it wants to an individual. Whether, sometimes I cannot even say that to opposition. Because sometimes we have seen even the likes of Nisima crying because of the bad law, the bad application of the law. We have seen them crying.
Nobody's safe.
We have ever seen that Mukunde is crying. We have seen that Nyefunza is crying. And so many.
That was after they crossed the line and went
No. And that's what I'm saying. Because today you don't know. Because some of us are in opposition. Because at a certain point in life, we were put on the wall and we were not given justice. And same applies to Nisime. At one time, he will be put on the wall. He will be denied the right, maybe to the right to justice.
So you're saying
at the end of the day,
you're saying that he's still there because he has not yet made it.
Yes, because today it's just a matter of a phone call, and that's why you have this word what we call order from above. And that order from above can retrieve him from whatever ditch he may be. And that's what, no. But
values?
Values? No, there are no values. There are no values. No.
We've just been discussing corruption.
Let me finish this.
Sometimes condones corruption.
It's just a humble appeal to Ugandans out there who are stakeholders. We must know. For us in business, for instance, sometimes you need to take a break. You go in maybe a closed room, you'll evaluate the performance, your performance. Where have you gone wrong? What have you made right? You understand? In order, if you want to move forward, but then this country, if you want to move forward as Ugandans, that's why at the beginning I said that we should remove all our colors, our tribes, our religions, and everything. Then we rebrand ourselves. I don't know whether you know that
when
story.
You speak like that, Haj Farouk, you're forgetting one thing.
Yes.
That we have some people who are benefiting from this corruption.
Oh, my dear.
But there are people who benefit from it.
Let me vividly
In fact,
say.
some of the leaders have been here for long, cut us of corruption.
Let me vividly say.
So not everybody is going to join you in that struggle.
There is a General Zed who told me that even those ones who were arrested for protesting against corruption,
yes,
they paid kitu kidogo
for them to be given. So that's what I'm saying. So we must know that those who are benefiting, and for sure, these are just, they can't even make 5% of our total population. Those who are benefiting.
But you know how
those who are eating our roads, I know they are powerful, but we are more powerful because we are many. I'm saying these are just 2% of our total population. Those who are benefiting. You cannot say that, I hear so many people saying that now, the Banyakore are in this thing, eating and everything. We have relatives. Ndimukodomi, Ndimukomu Bunyakore, we have relatives there who are crying. They are crying like us. So the issue is not for tribes. The issue is not about our religions. The issue is not where we are coming from. The issue we have today is for Ugandans. And therefore we must sit as Ugandans. That's why I don't want even to comment how the police behaves. Now, which other institution works? Tell me one institution that works. Tell me.
The judiciary doesn't work?
Everywhere. You go to judiciary. They are just using those institutions, this government, to torture.
I thought you'd answer him that the judiciary is working.
No. We all know. And
did you question the judicial system?
We all know.
He wants to answer you.
The opposition people, when the law has not worked in their favor, or when the judiciary has not worked in their favor,
it is biased.
They say the judiciary is not working. But when it works in their
I think that's enough for Council Nisima. Let me finish up this, and I'm going to answer him.
But Council, what you also
when I came here,
I want to give him something, but I want to give the DRU something that even a lady clock.
At one time,
in a day, it will tell the right time.
Yes, but again, I want to elucidate on what he has just said. That we opposition, when the law doesn't work in our favor, we say that the judiciary doesn't work. No, that's not my point. I came here today as a Ugandan, not as a NUP member, because I wanted to remind Ugandans out there their cardinal responsibility. Because we have all appeared in courts of law, in particular where he has just said. We have all appeared in courts of law. We have all appeared at one point in time to any police station seeking for justice. And we all know what is happening there. We should not hide our heads in the sand, thinking that now we are covered. If we are to talk about governance in this country, that's why we say that we should scrap all our affiliations. Scrap them off, so that you can be a clean Ugandan.
And that won't
An
happen.
objective
That
Uganda.
won't happen because I already told you.
Yes.
There are those who are benefiting from corruption.
No.
So
No,
them
aside.
don't. We are saying
And they are going to
those
subdue
who are
us because they are influential and powerful.
No.
They will subdue
These are
us.
2% or 1%.
We can easily
Cannot-
identify them and put them
Exactly. These are just 1%. People are crying. People, are not. Students are not going to school. People, sleep, with stomach. Empty stomachs. All those people, they have the power. They have the mandate given to them in the Constitution. Remember Article 1, what it says. The framers of our Constitution were very clear. They started with the power of the people. That this country is managed by the people of Uganda. That's why they said power belongs to the people. We have the people, the power to remove even the president himself.
Isn't that just in the book?
No.
Try it.
No.
The other people
No.
Why look at it like
that one I know.
just
Because for you, what you are saying, we are going to be intimidated. Until when we stop to fear intimidation, to fear to die. Because even if you don't do that, you will die.
Is it true?
You will die.
The right is
That's not a subject.
You even have the right to
I
remove
cannot
the
say for us Muslims, we don't even say that that in December you will die, inshallah. We don't want to use that word, inshallah. But when it comes to death, we don't use inshallah. We always say that one time when you go, the alhamdulillah, that qadarillah, that's how it says. So it's not all about death. And if we are intimidated and we go back in our homes and sit and relax, I'm telling you, one time, one of my elder is called Dr. He's coming from Busoga. He was once a member of parliament. That old man called Dr. Forgetting the name. He said that when he was still young.
He's from which district? Maybe I can help.
Is it? I'm just forgetting. It's Dr. Nawiso.
Oh, Dr. Nawiso.
Dr. Nawiso. One time he said, an old man. One time he said, Dr. Nawiso, that when he was still young, he used to see, people slaughtering chicken, and he didn't know the procedure. So one time when he was told to go and slaughter a chicken, for him he started with, removing the feathers from the chicken without even cutting off the head. Then the kitchen kept on, for him he said in the Soga word, that kuchoria, crying, for him he had no mercy for the chicken. At the end of the day, the chicken died with a lot of pain. So now, if we don't stop this impunity from a few people, allowing it, laying mats for it to sit, we are going to Kuchoria, like what Dr. Nawiso said, until our death. So we must come up and say no. Because what we are saying here, it's not for my personal benefit. It's not for Nisima, it's not for the doctor, it's not for you. It's for all of us. Because we all benefit. We are all suffering from bad governance, we are all suffering from bad infrastructure, we are all suffering from bad health sector, we are all suffering from education sector. We are suffering. And then we must wake up one morning and say, enough is enough, and put a stop to those who think that, they manage this country, they own this country, and then we make our country better, even for our children and grandchildren. Otherwise, if we don't do it, we shall keep on crying.
It's a political question, is it? Because the way Haj puts it there, is that all the blame goes to the government. It's the government that has not done its part. And that's why he's calling for an overhaul. We should just move as Ugandans to just see change of the leadership of this country. That's when things can get better.
Let me tell you one thing. Me as a person.
Is it too late for this one to reform?
I said I'm no longer interested in who is governing the country.
That's not our point.
That's not my issue. My issue is on service delivery.
Exactly.
I want to go to the hospital and find medicine there. I want to drive on a better road,
Doesn't matter how long someone takes in
even if he or she is there.
Service delivery is the issue here.
That's not my problem.
Because we can't all be presidents.
You be your president,
We cannot.
do your business, provided you you satisfy our space.
Exactly.
That's what we want. Yeah? And you know, when I saw these younger people demonstrating, I told them, do you really know the Uganda you want? And they don't tell you. But for us, what we want is that, for example, I was speaking to one of the leaders in a certain district, and I was like, you have people in charge of education, you have people in charge of health, but do these people take their children to UPE schools?
They don't.
For starters, do they take their children to those schools? Do you take your child to a public hospital? I mean, we have the minister in charge of education. How many of his or her children that have gone through UPE? You have the minister in charge of health. How many of her children have given birth in Nanka here, in one of our public hospitals? If we had a mechanism that would say that, Mwonge, you are a public servant, from today onwards, subscribe to public services, you will see things moving in the right direction. Because if I know that my brother Nisima here is in charge of maybe works, and I am using the road, I will call him and be like, hey brother, look here, the roads are poor. If he knows that I'm in charge of health, and he's supposed to take his children to Mulago, and they go to a public hospital and they don't find their medicine, he will call me and be like, hey, Honorable Minister, look here, what is the problem? Do something. But the only problem we have here, even Honorable Betty Kame was saying it, when she went to NMS to visit them some time back, and he found the staff were not there, told them, you are the ones who are suffering with your VTZika, you are the one who are suffering in the potholes. For us, we have 4x4, we have insurance. If we see that the hospital does not have medicine, we will fly out of the country.
I realized that she was speaking just sarcastically. She was sarcastic. She was not serious.
But she was speaking the truth.
Yeah, but she was sarcastic. She was not saying.
No, she was speaking the truth. That is the absolute truth. The people who are meant to give us services do not subscribe to these services. They don't. And how are we going to better ourselves if the custodians, the people that we have given, he talked about that the power belongs to the people, and we say it is the people that vote people to govern the country on their behalf. But the people who are governing this country on our behalf do not even subscribe to what the country is. You cannot tell me that somebody is going to govern the education sector or governance in education when he or she does not even understand the issues at hand, the situation in schools.
So saying that
they do not know even
the appointing authority should be appointing professionals in those respective.
No, not professionals.
If it's a Minister of Education, you need a teacher there.
Take your children to a dilapidated school. You go there on visiting day, and your child carries you and says, Daddy, come and see. This is where I study from. And you look at the school going to fall on the head of your child, and you are a minister, or you are in charge, you are the education, the district education officer, and then tomorrow you will eat that money for a school. You'll be like, my child told me the school is going
so it should be policy that we
public services.
You are a minister of health. You shouldn't be flying out your people for
here
medical treatment.
Treatment
they should be treated here.
Yes. I liked when we had the COVID.
How are you going to implement that policy, Mr. Alvin?
Because, I think that is the only thing we really need to have. It will reduce on a number of extravagance. Because the reason as to why people are saying that the speaker is corrupt and what, it is because of the level of extravagance. Maybe they are not finding
according to these two gentlemen,
where they could eat their money from.
According to these two gentlemen, they believe that this is a political question, that the government has not done enough. And Haji Farouk has suggested an overhaul to change the leadership of this country. That's when we are going to do away with these problems. First of all, yourself, you don't admit that there's a problem.
Answering the political question.
Yes. Yourself, you don't admit that problem does exist.
Of
leadership.
Bad leadership.
Oh, you see.
You're convinced that you've never seen any better government than this one. That's what you're saying.
We must admit that this is the 9th government. I think Haji Farouk Muntege might be the eldest here.
Yes.
He knows very well, and even his late father, late Chanjo, may his soul rest in peace, knows that.
He wasn't his father, but his comrade, maybe.
Okay, his comrade. His father. He knows that the 8th, I think, governments were the past, and this is the 9th parliament, 9th government to lead this country. And so, in building, in leadership, we face challenges, but we also do some good things. However, when we go to our brothers and sisters in the opposition, some don't even appreciate or give a credit to what has been done by this government. We are saying, yes, you are in opposition, but as you are exercising your political affiliations under the multi-party political dispensation, you must oppose objectively.
Maybe they can't see that.
Not
just take them through summarily what they need to credit.
Not saying that this government has failed totally. I don't see anything good out of this government. Let's start by appreciating.
Maybe the bad things outshine, they cover up the good little things that you've done.
No,
that's why they are
not
you
recognized. See, when I've been telling you a number of times our 10 points program of the NRA.
I know them, the ones that you shrunk to 3.
We are restoring, okay, bringing back what had been distorted by the past governments.
What is it?
Farouk knows that.
What is that?
But cancel the primary, cancel the primary role of government is to offer public services.
You see, I agree with that.
Any government that fails that,
people vote the NRM.
That's where the problem comes from.
Haji Farouk Ntege, from where you come from in Machinge, people vote for the NRM because of its manifesto. It on every.
Is the NRM voter there? Because when I look at local government there,
why not?
The opposition. President Museveni last time, no, I'm giving you facts. I saw, for you're good at giving opinion. But as a journalist, I have a duty to give you facts. And that's how I want to bring you to speed. When I look at Machinge, the opposition actually beat the NRM, that is in the local government. And also, when I go back the election results from the Electoral Commission, President Museveni, the flag bearer of the NRM, was also beaten badly in Machinge. So when you say that in Machinge they vote the NRM,
of course,
what do you mean, Council?
Of course, that has been the norm in Kampala here. But I don't know, maybe that has to be subjected to scrutiny. But to other districts, we have always emerged victorious as the NRM.
So what narrative anyway you push?
And facts are there.
Just have a minute. Exactly what he has just said. That we all know in this country, and Councilman Nsima also knows, because he has been here, he is a lawyer and he has read history. I know I'm privy to the previous governments that were here before, more especially from the 80s. I was there as a young man, but I was seeing whatever was happening, and I know what happened to us, more especially for us who were here in Kampala. We have seen it, and we welcome President Museveni. Came here in 1986. I think I was in P7 then. We welcomed him, we chanted and did whatever we did.
Seeing a new dawn.
Yes.
Not just a mere change of guards, but fundamental change.
In the history of our country.
What President Museveni has mastered today is the art
of deception.
Of deception, the art of using institutions, government institutions, to put him in power, and that one, you know, he has abrogated all articles in the Constitution.
No, but
a Constitution which was made
with
sober mind,
with the Constitution for his own
people.
These things are done.
That Constitution was very clear.
Has never
no, he has used it. You know it. You know it, how he has manipulated it in the parliament, using institutions. The way he's using police, the way he's using, judiciary.
You see.
No, let me just finish up this one, because this kind of discussion, we shall keep discussing about these issues, living around Omusajja Mukona, who is there and is the master.
The constant figure.
We don't want to talk about him.
The constant
now we shall
figure.
Say that Councilman Nsima was given, for instance, maybe he's the CEO of any other government institution. And now we start blaming Nsima. the way he's extravagant, the way he has used government money, leaving the other man.
There is this narrative that is pushed in Luganda.
Yes.
Museveni si mubi. Never mwetolodde.
That is the narrative.
Who came up with such a narrative?
Everywhere you go.
Museveni si mubi. Never mwetolodde bano be babi.
You will hear that narrative.
Especially used by the rural dwellers.
It's not a bad man.
But if I'm in charge
But
of
now
government,
surrounding
why do
him.
I have to surround
You
myself
understand?
with bad colleagues?
Why don't we get that master out of that comfort zone
why
in the
do I
corner?
surround myself
If you
with
want
bad
this
colleagues?
country to flourish.
Let's give time to
Otherwise,
Nisima to speak.
Would you like to-
I can see you're all gagging up.
No.
You're all gagging up against the Nisima.
I'm not about Nisima.
Yes, let him respond because he's a representative.
You said at the beginning that Council Nisima is an NRM cadre.
And now let's listen to him as he addresses these issues.
We cannot look for President Museveni when his representative is here and he's in the system.
And that's why I want us to give him time
Just looking
to
at
address
him.
these issues.
Just looking at him.
In Uganda, I have a
He
saying
has
that
all the powers to answer our queries.
Exactly.
Let's listen to Nisima. Mr. Alvin, let's listen to Nisima.
You see, we must all agree unanimously that the evil we have right now in this government is corruption. No, Haji. Haji.
We are going back.
No.
We are leaving the master in the corner.
But he has championed the
Champion what now? I think, Council Nisima, you must have studied economics.
Yes, at Masaka Secondary School.
Thank you very much.
Where your late father was.
My father, you are mistaken. Mr. Jan is not my father.
Hey,
My father is the late Shaban Iseva Garoligio, not even in NASA.
Okay.
So my brother
But
There's something small.
Just
I want to
something.
ask.
Okay.
Something small which is bad. You say that issue is corruption. Ever since we established these anti-corruption agencies, they are like 22. In
More
number.
than that. Others keep on erasing
We
themselves.
lose 10 trillion shillings. How much has the government recovered in that loss?
Have you ever taken an initiative, Haji Farouk, to visit these websites of these anti-corruption agencies?
Yes.
Do you see the information that comes from there?
Do you know how
For
much-
example, like the State House anti-corruption.
Do you know how much they recover?
Let me just answer.
On an annual basis? On an annual basis, as a country, we recover 30 billion shillings. 10 trillion shillings, not even 1%. On an annual basis, we invest close to 1.5 trillion shillings in these agencies. On an annual basis.
Let me hear
To
from
fight
Haji, then
corruption
I respond.
and to close the gap of the 10
Respond
trillion
to
shillings.
your
So, Ajindege and I, we are coming on a perspective where we have facts and right reason. We are not basing on fallacious allegations to say that systems are failing. And then you target the issue of corruption on individuals. We are talking about institutions which are failing us.
Haji
We are
Farouk
investing
X out
in
and
these institutions.
Council Nisima will lose 5 minutes.
Let me just make this humble,
not more
desperate.
than a minute.
Let me just make this humble, desperate move and appeal through you, Council Nisima, my younger brother.
Yes, Ndugu.
So that you can deliver it to your that master.
But you are
As
the viewers are
Ugandans,
also.
desperately, as Ugandans, desperately, we are making this humble appeal. Now that today we are having a budget of 72 trillion, we just beg.
It is, make it right, it is 62. You take off with the trend which is going to...
Make your point.
Corruption. I'm telling
Alvin, we don't have much time here.
This one is...
Make your point.
Yes.
Alvin, let's listen to
For
him.
me, and I think even our viewers out there, they will be comfortable with this. We just appeal to you. Out of the 72 trillion, take half of it, go and enjoy it the way you want to enjoy it. This 1% of the likes of Nisima and the of this government.
No, you
Take half of it.
Then, let him
clear,
complete.
because so that you can respond. This is a humble appeal, as I say. A humble appeal and a desperate one. Out of the 72 trillion, this financial year, we are asking you take half of it officially. Go and chew it. Go and do whatever you want to do with it. As Ugandan, just give us a half of it. That is 30, 36, 35. 35, no, 30,
31.
36.
Was 72 to 31. Okay, yeah.
60, so 36, something like that. Just give us that, as Ugandans.
And then?
For you go and enjoy the rest.
You're being sarcastic.
Officially. Because now, even the 30, the half of it that we are asking, we are not so sure whether also it will work. But we have given you that liberty.
You're being sarcastic.
Don't put it. No. That's not me. That's why I say this is a desperate appeal. A desperate appeal. Yes.
Take 10. No, 10 first.
Take half of it.
Yes.
Then we remain with 62. Then half of that. We remain with 31.
You go and buy your and everything. Go and build the mansions. Go and build castles, whatever you want to do. Go and build your own hospitals in areas.
So you're surrendering our country like that?
Officially.
To the hyenas?
Yes, because now we are desperate. We don't know what to do. And Ugandans have failed to
listen to you. Let me respond. We have just 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to get out of here. You have thrown so many things to him.
To change this.
Let him address the
They are fearing this master who is in the corner there covering himself. Sometimes he covers like this fully. Then sometimes he opens up and see what Nisima is saying. That master.
Let him respond to you. Let him respond to you.
But you see, Haji, irrespective of our political affiliations,
that's very true.
We are all Ugandans.
True.
So whatever we discuss here, we must focus it on Uganda and national interests, not identity. So we must desist from dangerous tendencies such as corruption and fraud that may damage the reputations of our institutions. If we want to build this Uganda, we must first of all admit that the corrupt are the minority. But them being the minority, you have just spoken it here, them being the minority, what do? We as Ugandans, then one, exercising our constitutional mandate to eliminate corruption, two, reporting these
Article 1.
Doing what?
Two, reporting these corrupt individuals to the
do we have a substantive whistleblowers protection mechanism?
It is there.
Which one?
The Whistleblowers Act.
Does it give protection? No. How many whistleblowers have you seen being put in place?
Can I respond? These people spoke for a
We don't even have a witness protection law.
Can I respond to
yes,
their queries?
Now,
what do we have to do? One, I said we report, okay? Report these corrupt individuals. But the reporting, we must report them to the to the institutions and forums.
Established institutions.
Established institutions and forums.
Police?
Yes, there are many. We have the police, the CID, we have the Auditor General, we have the
anti-corruption.
Is it functioning?
We have the IGG.
Are those institutions functioning?
Yes, why not? Very many Ugandans have been paraded in the courts of law and them remanded. You see, Haji, how will these institutions be empowered if we are not participating as Ugandans?
Unless we carry out.
In my preamble, I say the lady called people on the war against corruption.
You see,
citizens
Mr. Nsuma wind up.
On the war, and you know what happened.
You see, Haji. You don't expect a corrupt institution like a police with evidence. You know it. You know it. Then now you are taking a case of a corrupt person.
No, you see,
what services are
what I cannot agree with Haji Sebagara is one. We cannot put the corruption or to say that the whole institution is corrupt when only some individuals are the ones corrupt, the minority. So that's what I'm saying,
Is
that
it a
we must,
functioning
we
institution?
must identify them, report them to these established institutions for them to be crushed. That is
How
what
will we
President
know
Museveni has
that
always
now
been
we
saying.
go straight to Council Nsima, who is working in the police, and this one is not a corrupt one.
But you see,
and we have seen
for as long
cases of corruption,
for as
even in our annual reports, consistently, I think for the last 10 years, we are seeing police being ranked as #1 corrupt institution.
Haji, for as long as there is evidence to that effect,
Yes.
any individual you have reported to these anti-corruption agencies, I'm telling you the law will take its own
I want
course.
you this time of Council Nsima, for the benefit of our viewers,
Yes.
everyone out there,
Yes.
that you camouflage. You get a case with the police, you camouflage, go to police without these other accolades of yours, spokesperson for this,
NRA Mukada.
a lawyer.
No.
You camouflage.
As an ordinary person.
Go to any police station, camouflage.
What I'm talking about.
Take there your case.
Everyone wants protection.
See how that case is going to be handled.
No,
especially,
are not protected.
just
Even
make
the
sure that that
whistleblowers.
case has some kind of money. I don't want to say. Recently, I lost money through the fraudsters. I went to police. I reported that case for some lump sum of money. But my dear, it was an open gate for them to start even grabbing even the little that I had made in my
And
pocket.
I have the same experience with what he's saying. Let me share this. Now that he said that, you may say same because of position. Let me tell you this, what has the most. I was abroad and I sent money to someone, do something for me. An OB, I finished P7 with. Then that person disappeared, switched off the phones. I used my knowledge, went to Facebook, sent him a friend request. Disguised as somebody else. This person accepted my friend request. We became friends again. We got in touch. I told him I'm sending my sister who's coming to Uganda. Meet her, there's something I want you to do for me. It was me. When I came here, I first went to police, CPS there. And then I told them the whole story. I was like, the man, I'm just bringing him at Mabilis. That's where we're meeting. Arrest him. And then we made the case was entered in fire. And then we agreed on the time I was going to bring the man. I brought him to Mabilis here. They moved from CPS to come and arrest the man at Mabilis. Got him, took him inside. I was charged money for arresting him. Later using his Okomokwata. Eventually was released. I didn't get my money back. In fact, I lost more money, like you said. I'm not a politician.
But you see,
Haji. Because they always ask you, how much have you lost? Then you come out clean that I lost my 200, my 100 million shillings. Okay. So now that's the bargaining power. That is the bargaining power.
Yeah, you see.
They are arresting him. They don't arrest him for your benefit. They are arresting him for their benefit. And that's what's happened to every Ugandan out there.
Haji.
Yes.
So I agree that in government departments and institutions, some corrupt individuals are there. Those who are self-seekers and opportunists that don't target.
What you don't want to agree to is that there is a leadership problem.
Exactly.
No.
Yes. He gave an example.
No, but
where there are policies that are implemented, and even the last man here knows that, if I do this, I'm going to be caught up by the law. Yes. But here, nobody fears anything. They're like, nothing. I'm going to walk away.
But this government is in power because of the will of the Ugandans.
I know.
He has just mentioned about chapter 1. He has just mentioned about the chapter 1 of the Constitution.
I say,
yes.
This government uses government institutions to cut out their torture, to cut out their manipulation.
No, that's not
cut
true.
Out their impunity. That's what. That's the reason why you are in power.
Thank you so much.
Why you are in power.
The president.
What happened in the last election? You know what happened to President Chabula? You know what has happened in
Dr. Alvin.
You know what has been happening to Dr. Messi?
The president who took a president is to keep Ugandans safe.
To cut out your impunity.
I wish you a great Sabbath.
And we shall not tolerate.
May the good Lord continue protecting you until we meet again. We say goodbye. See you then.
This is BTM. We transform.